Hi, Paul here from Thompson Consulting. In this video, I want to talk about how to create content as a financial advisor, financial planner, and wealth manager. I get asked this question quite a lot. Your average financial advisor is not that comfortable creating or putting out content to their market. So I just want to give you a few quick tips which will help you do that. Now, should you create content is probably the first question. If you have any connections on LinkedIn or a following on Facebook or any form of an email newsletter or an email database, you should be providing some form of useful and educational content to those different connections or those lists on a monthly basis. Okay, so what sort of content should you actually put out? One recommendation I give to people is think about the questions that you get in your first meeting with a brand new client. There's probably 3 or 4 or 5 questions that you get again and again in the first meeting, and use those as the sort of core pieces of content that you put together. So for example, if you're doing pensions investments, it might be something like how much is enough, or how can I maintain my lifestyle in my retirement. Okay, so you could take those as topics that you can do and then put together a piece of content. Now, what does a piece of content look like? It could be an article, it could be a video, it could be an audio piece of you talking about it, it could even be a podcast that you put out to the audience. The actual format doesn't really matter that much. If you're new to doing content, I would suggest starting with an article, putting together a simple article with maybe 4 key points that you want to cover, have a little image that goes with it, and then you can post it onto your LinkedIn profile or on your website and then share that link with your audience. Okay, so that makes it nice and simple for you. Now, in terms of format, if you are doing audio or video or even getting a little bit more advanced and doing podcasting, you do need to think a little bit about the camera you're going to use, about the lighting setup. We have a full professional setup for this particular video here today. If the video is grainy or we can't hear you or there's a lot of shadows, it won't come across as professional. So just be aware of that if you're putting it together. And if you're not comfortable on camera, just start with the articles and you can always build up from there. The third piece that we need to think about here is how often should you post this content. Frequency in relation to content is really important. I was talking to an advisor recently and he was suggesting he was going to post once per day on LinkedIn. That to me is probably too much. You might get away with it on Facebook and Instagram. On LinkedIn, I would generally recommend 1, maybe 2 articles at the most, and maybe a couple of shorter posts per month. If you're new to this or just starting out, go with maybe 1 article and 1 or 2 posts, and that should be absolutely plenty on LinkedIn. And bear in mind that the article or the post you do on LinkedIn can also go out on Facebook, can also go out on Instagram or other channels as well to make your life that little bit easier. If you're part of one of the larger networks, maybe SJP or some of the other networks where they already provide you with quite a lot of content in terms of articles and posts and updates, what I would suggest to you is by all means use the content they've provided. It makes life simpler for you. You don't have to deal so much with your compliance department, but maybe repurpose it a little bit. Maybe tweak the title to make it relevant for your audience. So for example, the title might become 4 ways that business owners and company directors in Bristol can improve their retirement, rather than just ways to improve your retirement. So make it specific to the audience that you're actually trying to speak to, and generally it will resonate better. On that point, every bit of content that you do, you need to think, will this piece of content resonate with my target audience? And if the answer is no, don't post it. That's what you really want to think about in relation to content. You're trying to really connect with your audience and position yourself as a go-to expert. That's really what content is all about. The final little tip I'll give you is content is about consistency. It's about how often you do it. So even if you only did 1 article per month over a period of 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, it's that consistency of posting and people seeing your articles and seeing your videos over time that really gives you that credibility as an expert. And the more you can position yourself as an expert, the better you're going to do in terms of converting sales and generating more clients for your business. I hope these points helped you. I'm Paul from Thompson Consulting. Any queries, you can get in touch with us.